about time travel. Well, I have my personal experiences with what this concept means based on timelines, DNA, and stargates. In a sense, knowing that there's some sort of sabotaging of the organic ascension timeline from a very young age, wondering why the heck did I land in the Eisenhower family, and then realizing along the way that something called Alternative 3 was popping its head up, which of course affects us all, which has to do with alien agendas, assisting races that probably don't have our best interests at heart, but realizing that we're all one and we do care, but we have to look at ourselves and what timeline we want to be on, which is based on our sovereignty, our free will in alignment with integrity and our higher self. So in 2006, just as Project Camelot was coming about, I was faced with the opportunity to go to Mars. Some people wonder, why the heck didn't you go to Mars? But my intuition told me, from really recalling a youth filled with a lot of insight about what I was here to do, was to not go anywhere, but to stay true to my path, which has to do with Mother Earth, which has to do with the organic ascension based on accretions and reaching the stellar activation cycle of really harnessing the power of the human spirit, which is really the global immune system. So consciousness time travels. As we look at this time loop and all these different timelines based on alien agendas, when we view it as an observer from our spirit self, we can remember who we are, we can see a future that is positive based on the collective power of the human spirit, which I termed Alternative 4. Why not Alternative 4? It has to do with the power of the human spirit. It doesn't have to do with giving your power to any alien agenda, even if one is better than the other. So I feel that the ascension timeline was in a sense hijacked, but replaced with that warrior spirit that said, oh yeah, you're going to take us down, well, we're going to step up that much higher, and they can't even track us at this point because we've overcome a level of sabotage that is mind-blowing, that has almost created a timeline that we haven't even seen yet, which is merging us into a transformation based on the Hieros Gamos, the inner sacred union, the rebalancing of the masculine and feminine to really bring in that Christ energy, that liquid plasmic Christ force, birthing the magical child into that 0 point energy. That's what we're made of. That's the real timeline. And that's the one most supported by nature, cosmos, Mother Earth. And it's organic, it's natural. And this whole mind-controlled time looping game of the way these artificial stargates have been utilized and looking glass technologies, which were a part of how I got recruited, opened my eyes big time to what's really going on. But I didn't have Carrie Cassidy then, and just as I was breaking free of the recruitment, here comes Dan Burrish with his concept of timelines, and there I was breaking free just in time to hear that enough of us collectively have woken up to our missions. And just as reptilian brains don't like spontaneity and surprises, we stepped up. We all have stepped up, and we're here today, all of us, out there in the audience. We have stepped up and done something remarkable, and that's a form of time travel in and of itself, because we've stepped out of the time loop, and in a sense we've crumbled timelines right and left, and we're still continuing to do that, and the window's open for a couple more years, and it's really about preparation, inner work, and to be able to envision a future that we know is ours because we come from the future, we come from the past. We're whole. This organism is beyond time and space. It's a multidimensional planet that holds the monad at its core, a 13-dimensional planet. And this is the second Earth. This is not the first Earth. A major intervention had to happen because of the draconian influence. And guess what? The victory is ours, and this is just a time to unify because we're raising the frequency every day by refusing to submit to anything less than our own inner truth. And this is the true empowerment because we each have it. There's no control. There's no hierarchy. It's just the sovereignty of the human spirit that's saying, enough already. This planet is ours. This future is ours. And yay!
Hoorah!